Hi students, it's Heather. I wanted to go over the video, making a video for the interview assignment. So with this interview assignment, you do have three options. You can do your first option with a child that's age 6 to 10. Your second option would be a child 11 to 14, or your third option would be a child or young adult from 15 to 19. Now with this, you can pick one of each. You're only doing one interview, you're not doing three. So you just get to pick which one. Now the two options for number two and number three are the same exact interview, it's just the child's a different age. So the younger kids would have different questions. They are very similar, so whoever you have access to will be fine. Due to the Corona-19 virus, we will not be conducting actual interviews in person unless the person lives with you. If it's this is our only semester, I will allow students to interview their siblings or their family or their own children due to having the lack of resources to finding people. Students can complete this interview through email, through FaceTime, through social media, through Zoom, through pretty much any way they can besides being physically present with each other, so we don't spread anything. So for this, you do need to get permission from the parent. I'm not going to make you have a signed form this semester due to the coronavirus. However, you do need to get permission. In your paper, you will be changing the child's name just for confidentiality, and you can tell the parent that also and tell the child. So anytime the child feels uncomfortable with the question, you can restate questions if they need clarification what the question means. So up to you how you handle that part. You can just kind of clarify it for them more. If they're feeling uncomfortable, you can go to the next question. You want to get as much detail in this interview as possible because that will affect your grade. So when you're conducting your interview, you're going to have your notes, you're going to write things down, see what they say. When you go to write your paper, you're going to format it still like a paper. It's still an essay. So I do not want question and answer. So don't do that. So let me go through actually where it's going. So if you are connecting to a child that's 6 to 10, you're going to be going through chapters 11, 12, and 13. So with this, you do need to give some background information of the child, like their name, special things that I consider about them so I can know. It needs to be some detail, so at least a paragraph. And you're really going to be giving me a lot of detail, as much as you possibly can about that child. Now, here are the actual questions. You will not be making up your own questions. You do need to follow these questions. If you want to add questions, you're more than welcome, but there is 15 pretty sound questions already, so you don't have to make them up. So I'm not going to read them, but these are the 15 questions. So what I was speaking on not telling me question and answer. So I want to go in and write, I want to put question one, describe yourself, self-description, anything he or she likes to change about themselves. That wouldn't be what I'm looking for. What you're going to be saying, Johnny said that he really likes that he is really good in school. He's really good in math. He really likes painting. He's into art. He said the things that he would like to change is not being so shy. So you're not giving me the question and answer. You're just giving me the answer, but you're flowing it like an essay. So this section is going to be 15 points. So it is a lot of points. Then once you're done with tell me about the interview process, then you're going to have your developmental theory connection. So this one, remember, I like details, so you're going to give me some detail. So you're going to go over Piaget, you're going to go over Erikson and Kohlberg's. Now, with this being said, it's not just something brief. It's not pick one theory or the other. You do have to address all three to get the points. You also need to give me at least a paragraph per theory. So you're going to be connecting. This is where you're going to be citing. So you need to cite at least 2 times an APA. So you're going to connect to Piaget, you're going to describe the periods and the cognitive development, and then you're going to say why you determine this child is in what stage that you say. You need to support this with specifics from the interview and from the textbook. You're going to do Erikson and Kohlberg's the same way. Then you're also going to talk about effective child development. So this is going to be detailed also. So does culture, this is going to be some of the hypothetical, what do you feel? Economic, political stance. You could even talk about the coronavirus if that's going to be connected into the paper. It does need to be specific. You do still need to cite because you need to connect these responses or define the terms in APA. Then you're going to have the interrelationship of the maturation process and environmental factors. So in here is going to be, I like detail, so give me detail. And you're really going to be describing your feelings on how these things affect the child's development, how they intertwine. Here you're going to be talking about nature and nurture. Once again, I really do want you to cite at least 2 times in APA. You're also going to talk about the areas of development that has been affected and why. So that's going to be some detail in there too. And then in your conclusion reflection, you're going to basically describe, did you anticipate for this to happen? Are the responses to be accurate or not? Or is there anything that surprised you? Why or why not? One of the key things is stating at least 4 specific concepts that you've learned about the assignment. So with these concepts, they can't just be a list. It does need to be at least a sentence for each concept, and you need to be specific. Then you're going to make an action plan goal. So you're going to have 3 action plan goals as a future educator or as a parent. They need to be specific. You need at least a sentence per your goal. So it's not just a list. You're going to give me some detail on what you would want to do in the future. And once again, I'm going to be looking at APA, are you using proper grammar, writing structure, are there any typos? Did you cite an APA? Did you have an APA title page? And did you have an APA reference page? So the other 2 options, option 2 and option 3, it just determines what's the age of the child, but you're asking the child that the questions are still the same. So it's still similar to the above option, it's just different questions. So if you have a child 10 to 14, that's going to be option 2. If you have a child or young adult 15 to 19, it'd be option 3, but the questions are still the same. Now for these 2 options, the chapters you're going to be looking at is 14, 15, and 16. So you're going to interview them. Once again, due to the coronavirus, we're not going to be doing it physically. You can do it through email, FaceTime, social media, however you need to do. So very similar to the above one, you're going to have the introduction, talking about the person that you're interviewing, giving some applications. Tell me about this person. So give me some, huge things that I should know about this person. Now, then you're going to go back down. Here are the questions. So there's 15. You need to use these 15. You can add more if you want, but you need to use these 15. So once again, I'm not going to sit here and say question and answer. It needs to be an essay format. So something you can say, who is your best friend? So I'm not going to say number 6, who's your best friend, and then put Johnny. I'm going to put, if the subject that I'm interviewing is named David. David said Johnny is his best friend. He said that they've been best friends for 3 years. He said the reason why they are friends because they have similar interests in sports and TV and video games, whatever he says. So I want specifics. The more specifics you have, the better your score will be. So then you're going to go through all those questions, not question and answer. You're just going to be responding in an essay format. Then once again, you're going to be doing the developmental part, the theory part. So Piaget, you're going to do psychosocial stages of Erikson, you're going to do Kohlberg, so just like the above one, but now you're connecting to this age. This is an area that you're going to need to cite the terms. You want to connect it to the interview that the child or the young adult you're interviewing specifically. Each theory needs at least a paragraph or more. With that being said, if you only do one theory, it's not going to be sufficient enough. Then you're going to have the next part, the effects of the development. So just like above in option 1, all the same questions. You need to cite at least twice in APA and connect it specifically to the person that you're interviewing. And then you're going to do the interrelationship of maturation process and environmental. So this is that nature versus nurture again. You do need to cite, you need to be specific, connect, explain, to your interview, really connect in those areas. You're also going to need to do the ending reflection conclusion part. So anything that you anticipated, anything surprise you, why or why not? And then those 4 concepts again, which are going to be specific. You need to have at least a sentence per concept. You need to really explain those. Then you're also going to have your action plan. So, as a future educator or a parent, they need to be specific and you at least have to have one sentence per the goal. So, you need to explain these all. Now, with that being said, of course, I'm looking at APA, writing structure, grammar, any spelling errors, any typos. I'm looking for an APA title page, an APA reference page, and citing an APA. And if you want to go below, here are all kind of the grading point system, and this will all be worth 75 points. So hopefully that answered your question. You're able to interview your own child, family friend, anyone that you can pretty much get a hold of, long as they fit into the age. So if I have a child that's 9, I'm going to be doing option 1 because the questions are going to be more appropriate for that child. So that is pretty much the explanation of the paper, and I hope that helps everyone.